Finally, at number 1, we have Maximus II. This is a cute drawing action game with spectacular gameplay events and the opportunity to enjoy them in various modes. Gamers will be able to single-handedly hack the enemy next to their ward bots and join a team of players. See even more cohesively clean locations from all kinds of enemies, each of the characters presented in the project has its own qualities and characteristics, as well as unique talents, which will definitely come in handy during the final battles. The main thing is to apply everything correctly and in a timely manner. Cover your comrades, and next up at number 2 we have Velocity Rush Z. This is a highly dynamic first-person action, low poly graphic, and various types of enemy type of game. In other words, the game is inspired by top action blockbusters where the main character is adept at many weapons and has many stunts. While exploring the city, the game will have a complex and massive quest system appearing widely to create motivation or become a source of income for you. The content of the missions is rich, but most of them make you immersed in the continuous action. And at number 3, we have Backyard Parking. This is a driving simulation game. The game's main purpose is to help you get used to driving in real life, especially one thing that many people are always afraid of, parking the car in the right place and putting the car neatly in the parking slot. In the game, you own a car and get used to the car controls from the steering wheel, how to accelerate, reverse, and look in the rearview mirror to keep the distance of the car. You can practice driving through a lot of interesting small tasks that the game offers. Put the car in the parking. Next up at number 4, we have Monobot. Monobot is a 2D puzzle game where you play as a robot amidst a dystopian industrial world. It's a fairly cookie-cutter title, but it works well, especially for developer Dreamsmith's first release, with engaging puzzles and a believable, well-crafted world. Monobot tells the story of an unnamed robot who's been awoken from his chamber and set free. You don't know why or what the goal is, but as the game goes on, it slowly fills you in on who once you were, or who you once were. And moving on to number 5, we have Neoverse. Neoverse is a strategy game that, after gaining thousands of players on console and PC, now lands in the mobile catalog to immerse you in a universe composed of several timelines. This metaverse is suffering the attack of dozens of monsters and enemies that you'll face by using many cards. In the game, you'll be composing your own decks to have the best offensive and defensive moves in each. Down to number 6, we have the Suitcase. This is an action game with a top view with references to a couple of cult entertainments of this genre, as well as guaranteed fascinating gameplay, where there's a place for fights and shootouts and various decorations. At the same time, the arsenal of weapons and skins for the main character and his comrades, as well as the situations possible when achieving the main task, are also impressive. It's necessary to find and pick up a suitcase. It's closed, and it's better not to look inside. Next up at number 7, we have Phobies. Phobies is a turn-based strategy game for mobile in which you'll have to participate in turn-based battles, where you need to think through a strategy to win. You see, each phobia has its own chips. A sheep with a gas mask lets off gases, and a bully destroys obstacles and hits with an AoE attack. You can also grab panic points, which will increase your damage and allow you to inflict irreparable damage to the heart. Fears can be improved. This is done in Supercell projects with the help of cards and their fragments. The developer. Coming in at number 8, we have Dig Dungeons. This is a Chinese roguelike for mobile, in which you have to go through missions and the main task, which is to explore objects and dig in search of treasure or an enemy, maybe both. The game offers isometric gameplay, great animations, and a nice color palette. Gradually, we pump the character, collecting rarer equipment. An interesting feature, when there's little light around, then your attributes decrease, and depending on the selected set of armor, your skills will change. Moving on to number 9, we have Rhythm Fighter. Rhythm Fighter is an interesting side-scroller action game set to music, with players being able to take on evil vegetables and beating them to a pulp to the beat. You'll find that the primary goal of this indie game is to engage in combat in segmented portions of a side-scroller map. Players move through the map battling minor enemies in exchange for beat cards that give them bonuses to combat, as well as better weapons and tactile items that boost damage against enemies. The higher level the items, the better chance they have. Kicking off the list at number 10, we have Crux, The Great Outdoors. This is a mobile climbing game. Just by admiring the majestic surroundings and immersing yourself in the athlete's journey, you can find peace and quiet in your soul. Climbing isn't only a sport, but can also be an art that not everyone has the courage and patience to pursue. Playing Crux puts you in a time-based puzzle world. To get to the top of each level in the allotted time, you must find a balance between timing, planning, and your climbing tempo. The game only gives you the necessary tools and a craggy cliff. How to climb to the top, which way and which direction is entirely up to you. The art of climbing lies in the careful planning of the whole route.